Hello guys, and welcome back to this new episode. So today we are going to talk about dictators. Now, not all of them, otherwise this video wouldn't last like a reasonable amount of time. But in particular two dictators, right? That is Bokassa and Niyazov. Now, we're going to talk about it the way we want to talk about it, right? Which is not purely historical, not purely facts, but we're going to merge, mix facts that are historical, just to give you a background, and their weirdness, right? Because honestly, we like delving a little bit into this sort of like gossip, borderline history, other history, if you like, that nobody tells you about. So let's start. The premise here is that dictators in history have not been known as people with no issues, if you want to put it like that, right? And we know things about it and about them, right? So for instance, we know when it came to Stalin that he would put in line all of his generals, all of his, trusted men, and then whoever was not looking at him in his eyes, then that person would get shot immediately, because according to Stalin, he had something to hide. We know about Hitler, of his perversions, not only the ones we know all about it, but also his sexual perversions. We know some of that, but maybe we're gonna dedicate an entire new episode to Hitler next time. And so please, if you do want that episode, comment below, let us know. Also, we do know a bunch of other things about a bunch of other people. For instance, the Korean dictator's passion for cinema, right? And we also know about Mao Zedong, that he didn't like to wash himself. He was very proud of not washing, of not changing his robe, and also of not cleaning himself and his teeth. So we do know, for instance, that he liked very much his teeth to be kind of greenish, because in nature, that is how they are, according to Mao Zedong. Anyway, my point here is none of those people. My point here would be, let's understand better two other dictators, and one of them is Bokassa and the other one is Niyazov. So let's start with Bokassa, dictator of the Central African Republic. The best way to introduce Bokassa, just to give you an understanding, is to ask one question. And the question is, did the Parisian designer who designed his dress for the incarnation know about his alleged anthropophagy? So, did he know that Bokassa had a taste for human flesh, specifically Muslim flesh? Because, guys, you see, this is the problem. That there is a persistence, very kind of well spread, so not very known, but very likely to be consolidated rumor that Bokassa was actually some sort of cannibal, right? That he liked human flesh. Why am I saying that? First of all, let's back up. Very important is here that when Bokassa became elected, he had this very grand ceremony. So he imposed on all the servers, on all the people serving in that ceremony, to dress up with costumes directly from the 19th century. His biggest inspiration was for sure Napoleon, and so he dressed up in a costume that is very pompous and very elegant, yes, but also very 1800s. There were the eagles, and indeed, during this ceremony, which by the way costed an amount of money that you cannot even imagine, because it costed something like $22 million in a country that is objectively poor. During this ceremony, there were golden eagles behind his back, so like huge sculptures, and there was also a Roman laurel, so all the typical symbols to consolidate power and to manifest power. It is said, and it is believed by some, and here there's a role of France that deserves and should deserve to be investigated more, but there is this idea that during that ceremony he served Muslim flesh, human flesh, Muslim specifically, according to some journals, right? But anyway, this is the ceremony. So in the ceremony, everybody, every server had to dress a certain type of clothing. Also, he wanted to be coronated by the Pope. The Pope refused. And anyway, he had this ceremony and became like Emperor of the Central African Empire, which is like Central African Republic nowadays. Not only that, very important is to understand the background of this man. So the background is that of a father who was beaten by a French officer during, obviously, French colonization of that territory. His mother committed suicide a week later. So basically, Bokassa grew up orphan, without a father and without a mother. So he went for the option that the best solution here was to join the French army and participated to the Indo-Chinese War. He was very courageous, received about 12 citations for bravery during that conflict, and when he came back home, the best solution that he found was to start like a conflict with his cousin Dictators and seize power. And so he seized power, which is exactly when he became emperor or dictator, if you like. Now, he is very well known for certain traits that deeply contrast with others. For instance, when de Gaulle died, he was in France, and he was like visiting de Gaulle, and he knew that he would die, and he started crying, calling de Gaulle mon père, mon papa, and the idea here is that he recognized in de Gaulle his father. Obviously his professional father, his career father, but anyway, his father. Probably also, as we said, he lacked one, so he identified and recognized in de Gaulle his father. So on the one hand, we have what it would seem to be a courageous man, for instance, the citations for bravery, and a sensitive man, but he's also known as the butcher of Bangui, and the reason here is that he ordered the massacre of school children. And so there are very contrasting traits, which I should say is kind of typical because it's human nature that is overwhelmingly contradictory almost. But anyway, there's a specific list of things that were found by French soldiers when the French government decided to put a stop to his regime and to his administration. And so there's a specific list that I'm gonna go and read. There were a lot of diamonds, and part of these diamonds were used probably to bribe some members of the French government. There was a huge pornography collection, 2 mutilated bodies in a refrigerator, one of which apparently was that of a math teacher, bone fragments in a drained pan, and bones that they thought belonged to more than 30 victims eaten by crocodiles. So that is kind of the picture of Bokassa that we want to leave you, right? With that being said, guys, let's go to another interesting here. Dictator Niyazov, dictator of Turkmenistan. So he's well known for some positive and some negative things, right? Certainly somebody who developed hugely a cult of personality, to which his mother seems to have contributed quite a bit. Anyway, there were some acts, some decrees that are not that relevant, but apparently very relevant, but then they were kind of like overturned by his successor, right? But very relevant in the mundane day-to-day life, but overall relevant. For instance, he changed the Turkmen alphabet, replaced the Cyrillic. He renamed months and days of the week, and he renamed it according to or using names of heroes. He certain events specifically connected to his persona or his family members. For instance, September became Runama because of a title of his book. And also he named members of his own family, like his father, as hero of Turkmenistan. Some good things. For instance, he eliminated death penalty. And here we go with a list of things that make overall no sense. But let's go through this. So, for instance, in 2000, internet licenses were revoked, and so Telecom did not possess those licenses. 2001, shut down internet cafes. 2005, there were 36,000 internet users, which corresponds to 0.7% of the population. Now we're talking about Turkmenistan, so we are talking about a rural country, but 0.7% seems a little too low as a percentage of people that can have access and are internet savvy or savvy enough to navigate the internet. 2004, nurses and midwives were dismissed by certain hospitals. The only hospitals that were left were the ones in the capital, Ashgabat. Now, he also justified this political move by saying everybody who's sick can come to Ashgabat. However, we do understand and realize that an entire country cannot entirely depend on one city, right? And there are urgent cases that need to be addressed there, specifically in local, in the place where the person is feeling sick or where the person lives. Anyway, physicians were retrained and they were forced to retake a oath. Anyway, physicians were to take the oath, not anymore the oath to Hippocrates, which is known as the Hippocrates oath, but an oath to the president. Likewise, libraries were shut down. Books to read were only the Runuma, which is the book that he wrote, and the Quran. This is a Muslim country. In 2006, pensions were cut by a third, and more than 200,000 people saw their pensions removed, even though there might be some sort of like denial put out by the government. We also know that he banned a lot of other things, like lip syncing, banned, drugs, banned. Now, this is interesting. Drugs in this country were not banned because this is a Muslim country. Were not banned because drugs hurt and damage one's health. They were banned because of an unappealing odor, which seems to be a little bit of a weird explanation there, but okay. Then, right-hand drive important cars converted to left-hand drive cars increased the risk of accidents, therefore banned. Also, he quit smoking in 1997, therefore smoking and chewing tobacco was banned on the entire land. He built the Palace of Ice. I don't know that one deserves some investigation. Also banned opera, ballet and circuses. The reason is because they do not conform with the Turkmen character. Interesting. 2004, men were prohibited to wear long hair and beard. Reason? Not conforming to the Turkmen character. Also, reporters and presenters were forced not to wear makeup. Again, according to the same line of, thinking and reasoning. Then, gold teeth were discouraged. And bread, the name for bread, was dismissed. And instead of that name, the proper Turkmen name for bread, the bread took the name of his mother. Now, I would love to leave to you the comments. Let us know here below everything that you think. Everything. We want to know everything. We want to have fun. So, let us know what you think. Comment below. We'll talk some more next time with a new video. If you have enjoyed the video, which I hope very much you have, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell so you can receive every new update, and we'll talk some more next time.